Having a big survival city, there are many unfinished projects. Let's spend some time today just progressing different areas of the city, and let's all just sit back in Minecraft. The leaf litter has got to be one of the best things they've added in this game. I've just been going around this part of the city, just basically adding in piles of leaves everywhere. Man, they are so cool. I mean, there's no other block really that offers this much detail. You know, you can, like I said in the last video, you can put blocks, you can put leaf litter on any quarter of the block. I mean, it's crazy, look at that. So I've just, like I said, just been going around placing in leaf litter in so many locations. I've not tried to tackle the East End because that would be an insane challenge. I'm just going to try and do that when I can, but for now, I'm very happy with the progress I've been making. I mean, look how much of a difference it makes. Just these little details every once in a while. I mean, I've kind of placed a lot, haven't I? But I just think it looks so cool. I cannot get enough of it. But it's good we're in this part of the city because I've got a comment I'm going to read out and put another one of you guys on the wall in the town hall. Again, this building needs a lot of work. I mean, I want to try and do more in here. I'm just not sure what. So this is not going to stay in this state, even though I'm still using it. We really need to try and finish this area off. But this is a comment from the last video by Garlic27. Hey dude, thank you so much for making videos. You're hands down one of my favourite creators out there. Your chill playstyle offers a nice relief from some of the other creators on YouTube. Congrats on 3k subs and keep making these amazing videos. Thank you so much. What a lovely comment. Also, Triamilia 3000 in Latin square could be a good name for the monument. What a good idea. That's the one that we made in the last video. Let me go over there. But first, let's get your name up on this wall. Here we've got that very nice line of sight from the central park. Wow. I mean, look at this area. We're going to try and connect this road from down there up to here as well. But first of all, let's get some signs in place. And so, unfortunately, because there's no buildings to place these signs off of, I'm just going to have to do them like that for now, where it's just a fence post with the signs for the street names. That's quite unfortunate. We really need to build up this area soon. And there we have it. Triamilia Cross is in place. Cross, again, because of the cross of roads. I think it's quite a cool name. So yeah, thank you very much for that great suggestion. It'll be nice once there's buildings here, but at least we have a good name. Let's spend some time connecting that road up to here. And so you'll see in just a moment when I clear this tree, this road is around that point there. It's going to have to try and come out and then swoop round to connect to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it sort of snake round like this and then connect up. Just to try and add some variety. It will really make, once you have buildings here, it will make the city feel so much more dense. So let me clear out some trees, make some plans, and then you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so you can see I've put in the gradient that I'm going for. It's very slow in starting, and then it gets quite steep as we go further down. But there's a lot of possibilities for this. Again, like I said in the last video, because we've started placing stuff down there, we now need to tie it all together, which creates cool roads like this. But you can again see the shape I'm going for, nice and steep at this part and then nice and smooth up there. So now that we've done that, let's now start filling in one side, make sure that we get it all nice and good. I'm also going to stop doing shorts. I'm going to try and focus as much as I can on these longer videos because they're much more enjoyable for me to make. You guys seem to enjoy them more, and it's just more insightful for what actually goes on the world. I'm sure I'll still make some shorts in the future, but I'm not going to be doing them every other day like I've been doing. Okay, so there we go. You can see that that's the top layer of the road in place. Looking quite good. Now it's the tricky part, which is getting the other side in. Yeah, wish me luck. I'm just filling in some of the road. I've just spotted this guy as well. These trades, what's up? My bundles, there we go. These trades are so good. I got 32 mangrove logs from this guy. I mean, what a fantastic addition these trades are. Mangrove logs, by far the most annoying logs to get. The road is going quite well though. You can see I've really got that slope coming in. Like I said, I'm just filling in these gaps. What I do is I put in the slabs first and then I can just put in the rest of the blocks afterwards. This is by far one of the most steepest and smoothest roads I've made in this city. Very unique, especially down this part. I mean, this is a steep decline right into, let's hope I don't butcher again, Triamilia Cross, I think. Let me know if I'm saying it wrong, please. But yeah, it's coming along quite well. I'm just going to finish filling in this road and then we'll start work on something else. Okay, so that's the full road in place. I think it looks quite nice, looking quite good. It's very fun to run up, and basically when you get to this point you can really see how steep it is, like I was showing off before. It's quite cool. Also, in a short that I released a few weeks ago, I asked what should the third iron farm be themed around, and I saw this very good comment to make it like a Wall Street building, which is exactly what's going to go right here in this crossroads section overlooking the monument. Anyway, I'm kind of wanting to take a break from this area now. We've done a lot here. Let's run up this lovely curved street again. So much potential, so many buildings could be built here. I really want it to be quite sort of closed in and narrow, because you won't be able to see very much because of how windy it is. You'll only be able to see the sky from looking straight up once there's buildings here. But yeah, let's head back towards the city centre. Let's try and work on something else. I'm just over here in the harbour because I want to spend some time working on just the general outline. I want to try and build something industrial, and what better place than in the harbour. So over here, which we made a long time ago in a video, I want to try and extend this road all the way along, just continue over there. I pushed this harbour all the way back to here. I think we're going to remove this, instead bring it further up. I've got some resources here, I've got 3 stacks of each, and this is how I like to build them. I basically just go underneath the water and just stack up. I'm going at a gradient of 3 blocks to 1, so I'm going 3 blocks along, then going in 1 block. Okay, so you can see the outline that I've put in. I've basically just run it alongside this train line, and I've got a sort of vision that I'm going to try and explain to you right now. So you can see the train line sort of goes in this direction. We're going to start to curve it round and basically have it just turn at that edge, and it's going to follow that curve along, and there's basically going to be some sort of, it's almost like, it's called the sidings. That's where there's you might see them passing down a motorway or something. Humongous loads of railway lines just for storage of trains. Big railway lines just like that running along the side of the water. We're just going to curve that track into this kind of area, so we're going to have to take away some of the hedges and bushes that we've got there. Something that's quite useful is the fact that we've got the Moulder warehouse right here, which is a warehouse named after a subscriber, which I just use to store a whole load of excess resources. So you can see inside of these barrels, I'm just going to take a whole load of dirt, which I'm just going to use as my underlayer. So all I'm going to do is just spend a while placing in this layer of dirt, and that's just going to act as an underneath layer to support the gravel and the coarse dirt for when we place it above. So I'm currently underneath the city just gathering some gravel so I can make it into coarse dirt and use the gravel itself. I discovered this cave, of course loads of gravel. I thought I'd just keep exploring it, and I've just found a zombie spawner which has not even been touched, not even been looted. I mean, look at... I'm kind of speechless. I love when things like this happen. Anyway, I've got my silk touch shovel. I'm just going to keep getting some more gravel, and then I'm going to get back over there and start working on basically detailing that entire new part of the harbour. Okay, so you can see how flat this area is now. Kind of unbelievable. I basically just followed the shape of the river until I ran out of dirt. I've still got some more in there, I just mean ran out of dirt in my inventory. But you can see just how much land there is to work with. It's quite something. And to think, I remember running along this part of the beach, eventually turning around the corner and seeing the city before there was really anything in this area. I'm talking this deep in the East End, like... It's kind of crazy to see how far it's came. So for now, I'm going to work on that railroad kind of there, and then snake it round and connect into that part of the railroad. For now though, we're going to have to clear out some of that vegetation and then go back and craft some anvils for the railway. And it is quite a shame to have to do this, so I'm thinking this is basically everything beyond this part is going to have to go. And I have of course brought some shears so that I can just shear out all the grass and the leaves, just so I don't waste anything. What is quite good is that everything here can be reused, and that's basically all that I need to take out for now, I think. Okay, so quite a lot has changed. You can see that I've put in the railroad. You can see I've even run out of anvils as well. I think it looks quite cool. It's quite hard to see the vision that I'm going for just now, but bear with me. We're going to start work on a building in just a moment, but let me explain exactly what my thinking is over here. So you can see the train tracks have just been ever so slightly moved over, and you can see that they're going to go this way, and then continue further on, and then continue up that side, and we're even going to probably have another one go straight ahead as well. And then this road here, I'm going to continue it forward and basically just run a building alongside of it, and then we're going to have this road that's basically going to follow the train tracks and just turn into that road. Basically something that kind of looks like this, where the road just continues along this side, and then again there's going to be this road which will turn in and connect to that, and it will leave this sort of wedge shape in the middle. I'm thinking maybe like a water tower or something, I'm not too sure, or maybe just even a tree. Just a tree surrounded in shrubbery, I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so you can see that that is the roads in place. I think they look quite good. a humongous triangle building right there would look so cool. So I think that's what's going to go there. Not a tree, not a dead space, a big building. I think that would look cool. Even, it's probably rivaling heights with that one, I think. And then you can see I've also laid out a whole load of trapdoors. I'm wanting them to get to this slightly weathered stage. I don't have any more, or exposed, sorry, not slightly weathered, exposed copper trapdoors. You can also see as well, I've started filling in this part. I'm trying to keep the gravel to this side of the train tracks. There's also going to be those shrubs continuing it along. We might put up a fence at some point. And then you can see I've put even more train tracks. Again, we've run out of anvils. So I'm just putting scaffolding in place of the anvils, of course. And then this road, not many roads in the city are straight. This one is, because I've got a building I want to put here. I've got a cool idea. That's why I've got all these exposed copper trapdoors. And I've used this trick before on certain builds. They look kind of like granite trapdoors, especially when you put granite or brick in front of them. And I'm doing that purely for depth, because next to them is going to be the warped stem, or warped planks rather. So you can see I've only got 6 trapdoors left, and then that's all of my trapdoors weathered. So yeah, things are progressing quite well. I'm very happy. I'd like to try and tackle that triangle building, but not just yet. Let's try and get up this facade that I'm going for. Because I like to build and I like to have some kind of structure for most of these things, especially because this is an industrial building. You tend to find these things are very uniform and very gridded. That's why they're very, boxy. And then in between these gaps, I'm just going to place in some coarse dirt. And again, this will continue much further on. It's just because that's where the street ends and we've got trapdoors in the way. I'm just going to try out this. It's just basically a proof of concept. And now I'm basically just stacking up just to see a general height. I think that's quite good. And then on this level, we'll start to put in our trapdoors like that. We won't, in fact, we will go around the corner because that is where the road goes in, so that's fine. And then to make this look much better, let's get some brick walls and granite walls and basically just mix these in. Now, like I said before, in the past, I like to try and keep my sort of blocks really quite... If I've got granite there, then I'm going to keep granite round about it, unless it's somewhere like this where maybe I can't. But you can see, I try and keep my textures close together. And now this is where the warped planks come in, because on top of these we're going to put in 4 warped planks and then basically just continue up our main sort of brick colours. And then again we get our trapdoors and these go here, and then you can see that it kind of makes the warp wood look as if it's slightly further back from the rest of the wall. There we go, so you can see that kind of theme there, and now we're going to work in these sort of sections in between these pillars. And then this is where I'm not too sure how well this is going to work. You see, the thing with walls is they can either look very good or not very good, and I think I quite like that so far. And let me know if you enjoy these sort of live building parts where I'm basically just building it alongside you guys rather than me coming back and explaining what I've done. And so now it gets quite repetitive, because then it's time for the warp planks. It's also trying for the trapdoors as well. Okay, so here we have the front face of it looking quite good. I've just brought it round the side and then put an indent, and then I think this will just go straight back, and then the road will curve round and then connect up to that side of Central Boulevard East. Not that side, just that one side, and will swoop round. I'm not exactly sure. I think that's how it's going to link up. But you can see I've done this for the purpose of having a staircase going up and then this being the front door into this massive factory building. You see, there's a bit of me that really likes what the warped wood does for this build, but it sticks out. I feel like once we get a roof on it, I think that will really make the difference. So I'm going to try and tackle that just now, just on this front face before we continue it round the building. Of course, there will be another building right here butted up against it, so we don't need to worry about this side wall. And so I think what we'll do first of all is just continue to expand this up one more and then put in the warp planks again. And then I've got these granite and brick stairs, which I'm basically going to try and arch above the window. I'm also just going to match the block behind the stairs. That's why I'm using a lot of brick and a lot of granite. And for this corner, we'll just do granite. And then from here, we're going to put in some walls. We might end up changing this. I think that looks really quite nice. You can see that I've just put trapdoors in front of the walls, and it just sort of gives it this almost transparent, yet still a block. I've just fallen into the water. There we go. So that's what I like. I'm not sure about just that solid block. I think if we were to put stairs, that could really open up that sort of middle part. Let's see how this looks just by placing in some stairs upside down. I think that actually looks really quite cool. It almost looks like the stairs are jutting out further. than the brickwork. I really like that. I think that's a winner. I think that's our design. I'm going to continue just building this, trying to flesh this out some more. I think we're onto a winning design. Okay, so you can see that that is the facade in place. I even brought out this dirt just slightly further, just above the water. Again, this is going to be entirely dirt covering the water. We're going to connect to this little island. But you can see that's the entire place for the facade of the building done. I've not got much in the way of iron just yet. You can still see I'm just slowly chipping away. I think it looks very cool, and I really like just how this turned out. I feel like that warpwood, again, it's interesting, but I still think it works quite well. But I have been eyeing up this spot right here, and I've got an idea. Because I want to take a break from filling in the groundwork and working in this building. I want to try and put something here, and we could just have one big triangular building. I think it's going to look quite cool. You see, what I tend to do in this city is I've got lots of different themes of buildings, and I basically just pick and choose elements from each building. So this is going to be heavily inspired by that big dark oak building there. And when I go into my inventory, you can see it's not quite dark oak, but you can definitely tell a constant theme. So first things first, let's get a layer of stone blocks down the bottom. This is going to give it a solid base, and it's also going to disconnect it from the dark road themes, you know? And what's nice about this area is it's got this really cool wedge shape. So it's going to be like the Flatiron building that you might see in New York. And so that's basically it for the stone layer. Now it's just going to be birchwood. Okay, so you can see the theme that I'm going for. Just these birch pillars. We're just going to strip the wood. I think stripped wood was one of the best additions to this game. I think it just is such a nice texture, and I like it when they update existing things like a log. I also think the happy ghast, what a cool idea that is. I've not actually spoken about that. I might not use an elytra, but I will definitely be using the happy ghast because it's slow, it's not as overpowered, and you can see that we're just going to be using grey stained glass because I think that looks very nice against the birchwood. And so after continuing the theme upwards, it was then time to put a roof on top of the building. Take a look at this building. From this angle, I think it looks so cool. It's a very, very tall building, one of the tallest in the city. Still, I think it works really quite well here. And once we get a building there, probably around that height that building should be, I think it'll look very good. It does look quite flat, but once we get some elements on the roof, I think that'll make all the difference. So let's do that just now. And so basically everywhere where there's a pillar that goes up, basically where there's not a window, is where we're going to place in a stair. Okay, so now that they're all in place, what we're going to do now is basically just wrap a layer of stairs all the way around the entire building. Okay, so now that we've got all that in place, we can now just go on top of these birch logs and basically just place in another layer of our stone blocks. And now this is going to be slightly tricky, but on top of where we put our second stair, I'm now just going to place a slab, which should be just every couple blocks, but still, it's kind of annoying to have to place them and look over the edge to make sure we're placing them in the right spot. And all this is to do is to try and give it more depth on this top layer. You won't be able to really see it, but it should make a difference. And so in the end, the building should, feather falling's amazing, but it should look something like that, which I think just looks very, very cool. Very nice, very old-fashioned, sort of like something you'd see in New York, but still very cool. And again, that was kind of the inspiration by the Flatiron building. What a cool looking building. It's quite flat. Again, I like that though. And especially once we get more details around here, like bushes and shrubs and everything, it's going to look quite good. So let's try and get some of that in place as well. Okay, so I just quickly put a roof on that building, put in a floor as well. Let's get some nature up in this area, which I'm very much looking forward to. You can see we've got all this. We even got a visit from a wandering trader. Managed to get the firefly bush. What a good buy that was. But first, let's get some hedges in. I'm just going to place in. This is like effectively the sort of stem or stalk for the bush. I'm not sure, but there you go. We're going to get these in first of all, and then we can start building around it. We'll even put one right here as well, maybe on this side too. And it's alright if you do things where it's kind of like that, where it's just in a big line. I'm going to get the ones that are on the road, get rid of them, and primarily focus on keeping it on the dirt. And it would be quite cool to use a firefly bush in these kind of areas, but I don't imagine fireflies would want to live here, you know, considering how industrial it is. So I don't think it's very realistic to have the firefly bushes here, but still, even just these regular leaves, acting them as bushes, I think does the trick perfectly. And you can actually see the biome change as we go into the ocean. Back over there, the oak leaves still nice and bright, They just sort of blend in with the birch leaves here, which is fine. There's nothing we can do about it, but still, I've just never noticed that before. And now it's time to get in the leaf litter. By far, my favourite block in this game. I mean, there's no other block just quite like it. Especially for these kind of areas where it just works very well in the bushes and up against the road as well. I try to do it where you can see every single block is separated into a quarter for these. I try and keep these so they're only going to go down by 1/4 as I move further. So I wouldn't do something like that because I feel like that's too harsh a transition. Whereas if I was to make that a big one and then put that there, that works quite well. And of course we've got this big building. This is going to be quite fun to decorate with leaves. I mean, even just that changes the entire atmosphere so much. Take a look at this now. That looks so much better. Just getting those shrubs in. I'm really quite surprised by the difference that has made. We really need to try and get some more anvils. I think I've got some underground train tunnels far over in the south side of the city. I think we're just going to take some anvils from there and then work nearby the iron farms in a future video. In fact, we'll be doing that next video. I've got an idea for that. And then that'll give us more time to get iron, which we can then replace back the tunnels anvils for. But just looking at this with the shrubs, I just think it looks so cool. We need to try and put some like those things that the trains stop at. I'm not sure what they're called, but they basically just stop the train from, going off the edge of the track. I have made a couple of those in this world before, just using pistons and things. We might try and make some of them there, or I might try and create a better design, I'm not sure. But for now, I'm happy with where it is. Let's get some anvils. So yeah, these are the train tunnels, and I did place anvils quite far inside. We are going to have to dig them up. That is unfortunate, but it's a necessary evil. I mean, look how much iron there is just sitting down here. Okay, so I've got 64 anvils. We're basically going to run out. If you watched the creating the farmland video, then you'll know in a minute where we are. We've got the anvils here. We're going to keep these here for that train line. But because of those firefly bushes that I bought, I'm going to place them in this sort of nature part. I really want more of these kind of areas, but they're only really good around the edge and the outskirts of the city. And in fact, whilst we're here, leaf litter would look quite good in here. And look at that. Just little details here and there. We'll put some leaf litter there. Oh, love it. Right, let's get some leaf litter over this side as well. Is that fireflies? I think that... Oh, this is amazing. What an amazing update. Just all these leaf particles, everything. Mojang has done such a good job. I feel like they're really stepping up the mark for these recent updates. And for the future updates as well. I mean, the happy ghast, like we spoke about before. Vibrant visuals, I think, is going to be an absolute game changer. I mean, it will be. There's no doubt about that. Okay, let's head back over, get those anvils in place. We've still got one more building that I need to try and come up with a design for. I'm kind of stumped. And so whilst I was placing in those anvils, I was brainstorming some kind of design for another building that we can add in the harbour to fill that gap. Okay, so here's what I've gone for. I've just went for that sort of mud texture, and I've also put in some of the copper that we're basically just using next door, but I think it looks really quite cool. You can see I've also put in some debris and basically just litter around the road. I've also put in some glass here. I think it looks quite good. I'm going to try and continue this theme. I'm not exactly sure. I just wanted a different colour because you can see that's brick, that's birch, this is sort of grey, that's oak. I don't want to try and repeat too many colours, so that's what I went for just now. I don't know. I'm still going to try and continue toying around with it. Okay, take a look at how this building is shaping up. I completely changed the theme that we're going for with the mud, but I think it still really works like very well. Just the lower half is just a different material, which I've done before in many other buildings, but it works really well with this combination of blocks. I've just ran out of light grey glass. I need to get some more of them, same with some basalt pillars as well. I think it looks very cool, and in fact this area, especially the sunlight from right here, I think it just looks so cool. Cannot wait to continue working in this area. But yeah, you can see this building is shaping up nicely. We could have a humongous farm in the middle of this place here. Take advantage of the two sort of facades and just create this humongous farm in the middle if we need to. I'm very happy. I really like how this is turning out. Okay, here we have the finished building. I really like how it's turned out. You can see that inside it is an absolute mob farm. I put a roof on both the buildings, just made them out of slabs. You can see I've still got loads. I think this is such a unique building. I've not really done anything of these kind of block combinations before, and it's always very nice when you discover something which works really quite well. You can see as well, in the time it's taken me to get the glass and everything, I have got all the anvils in place. I think this area just looks so cool now. And if I were to look at it from above, you can see this area just looks, again, like I said, very cool. The train tracks, I really like how they turned out. I think they just curve really well, really organically, like train tracks should. That building looks really cool, same with those ones as well. I'm very happy. I hope you are as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I did not expect to be working down here this video. This took a complete different turn than I intended it to. But still, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.